Well, hello all. My name is Richard Cohen, and I'm thrilled to be spending the next hour or so with you at this online conference. I'm also pretty excited about the theme of this year's conference, which, as you know, is Cultivating Curious Minds, Inspiring Inquisitive Learners. And that sort of inspired me to come up with this particular presentation, Cultivating Creative Minds, Inspiring Imaginative Learners. And why is that? Because one of the things that I know about the first years of life and working in early childhood education is that creativity and curiosity are two sides to the same coin. For young children, from their perspective, there's not much of a distinction. They go through their days, they explore the worlds around them and what they come upon, and either they develop, let's say, a scientific curiosity about materials and spaces and things they encounter, or they have a sense of creativity that's inspired by those very same things. So in the first years of life, art and science are fairly indistinguishable. So to cultivate curious minds and to cultivate creative minds are in some ways quite similar tasks for the early childhood professionals. So we're going to spend some time exploring what is creativity and what is our role as early childhood professionals in how to cultivate that for young children, how to support and inspire that. My name, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, is Richard Cohen. I've been an early childhood professional for over 30 years and spend time running around the world working with and talking with early childhood teachers and caregivers and helping them think through this very subject. So I'm excited to spend some time helping you think through it today as well. So I guess we start with sort of defining our terms. What is creativity? Well, one way to look at it is to think about neurology, neuroscience, the brain, what happens in the brain. We have a lot of research now about what happens in young brains and young minds that I didn't have as a young teacher when I started out. In fact, we're so far along in our neurological research that even this idea that you're seeing right here, that the brain has two sides, is already coming into question. We already know that the brain is more complex than just the two hemispheres shown here. But generally speaking, there is some truth and some helpful information here in the idea that the brain does have two hemispheres and that generally speaking, one side of the brain does seem to be more responsible for reasoning and logic, analysis, and at the very bottom there you see that word science, just like we were talking about earlier. And the other side of the brain is the side that's more responsible for imagination and inspiration. And as you see toward the bottom on the right side, there's the word creative. So art and science are both there. The possibilities for art and science are both there in our brains and in the brains and minds of young children. And the question is, how do we harness it? How do we help them build these, we'll call them muscles for right now. So we're going to continue to think about what does creativity mean? And I would say that creativity has a couple of different important definitions to it. One is the one you would probably guess, which is imagination.